The last time we were at this table, we chatted about our first Golden Age collection finds. You actually sold me my first Golden Age comics, and you found yours from someone who saved them from a burning barn. A lot of good response from that video.
Yeah, that was a really fun video to do and just kind of share that story because it was an interesting way to acquire a collection of books. So definitely check out that vid if you're just not sure what we're discussing at the moment.
There was a lot of positive response as well from us kind of kicking this idea to the audience if they wanted to see more Golden Age talk on the podcast. Multiple comments.
This comment really stuck out to me. The Retro Savage, he wrote, "My first Golden Age was a Police Comics from 1945 with my dude Plastic Man on the cover.
Heck yeah.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The Plastic Man stories from the legend Jack Cole were amazing. May he rest in peace." Now, there's a lot to take away from that comment because this video, I'd like to really discuss something the community has also been reaching out to me and asking, what is a way to get into Golden Age?
Yeah, where do you start?
Yeah, how to begin, how much should I allot for monies, just where to go. Like, how do I get there? How do I just take that first leap? So I'd like to discuss that here with this show. And one of those titles was just mentioned in this comment, which is Police Comics.
Ooh, I like that. Let's start there. But before we jump in, let's make sure to remind the audience to hit that like, hit that subscribe button. That lets us know if you want to hear these conversations continue.
So Police Comics, like I just mentioned, is just one of the many titles that you can jump into for Golden Age. And I did a search on eBay because I was like, well, what is really out there for somebody who wants to jump into Golden Age from, let's say, $20 to $100?
Oh, it's a good cap there because it could get so expensive.
Yeah, I mean, Silver and Bronze Age gets expensive. So let's just talk about gold. And doing a search with those type of parameters, and specifically because anything below 20 is a lot of reprints and nonsensical books that people put up there for some reason. There was almost 53,000 books that you can pick from in a variety of any genre you want to get into. So it is very affordable to just get started in Golden Age.
Well, that's a big misconception that people think that gold is not affordable. There's no way.
Yeah, you're not actually buying gold. So it's not like that expensive. Maybe the name throws off people and scares people. But really, you can get in for very affordable and accessible.
Totally. And I think the big misconception here is that it's because, for one, it's too expensive, but two, the scarcity aspect of it. Because a lot of these titles, the really expensive ones, they don't exist. Like, there's very few copies. But there's also a lot of titles that were printed in mass. Captain Marvel, the name is synonymous with Shazam, and that's a DC-owned property. A lot of people don't know that Captain Marvel was a Fawcett-owned title in the 40s that was made to be in competition with Superman and actually outsold Superman at one point. It was one of the most successful comic books in American history.
So I absolutely agree with you on the Captain Marvel. And really, that whole family universe is quite large. So we should definitely discuss that a little bit more on this video here because there are titles there that you need to jump into. So circling back to what we discussed about being able to get into the Golden Age in a relatively affordable manner, here's a couple things I recommend and suggest. Depending if you want to dive in as, let's say, Cannonball or Swan Dive or Belly Flop, depending on how big of a splash you want to make. That's up to you. You know, how big does it have to be for you? But just getting started, I recommend picking 3 genres that you want to possibly get into. The first 2 are definitely ones you want to get into. Let's say superhero and sci-fi. The third, I feel, should almost be one that you just reach for and you just isn't something you would normally go for. So let's just say superhero, sci-fi, the first 2, and then maybe crime or horror.
Or romance.
Or romance. I mean, they're Western even. So give that a shot. And if you're reading these stories and you really enjoy them, you have a direction you're going to.
You mentioned Westerns, and Westerns aren't something that you're going to see a lot of people posting about on Instagram, but there are some really cool Annie Oakley Westerns. There are some Jesse James Westerns that are just killer.
Yeah, I mean, Westerns were popular for a reason. Culturally, a lot of people loved reading them at the time. So they put a lot of effort in the artwork and the stories. So you can get stuff like you mentioned with Oakley and James and even Wild Bill Hickok, which is one of these books that we're going to actually give away to the community
Yeah, what issue of Six Gun Heroes is that?
46.
All right, so we're going to give this issue away of Six Gun Heroes number 46. All you have to do is put your answer in the comment section below. What's a good question for the audience?
I think the appropriate question should be, what title are you most thankful for?
Ooh, that's a good question. So make sure to put your answer in the comment section below. We'd like to hear from you. Join the discussion. Hit that like and hit that subscribe button while you're down there if you haven't done that already. And before we leave this table, Jeff, as the guru, I got to ask you, I'm kind of new to Golden Age. I know a lot of our audience is. Why don't we talk about some comic books that we can recommend?
So the more you know, the more you're really going to appreciate the Golden Age. So I recommend certain publishers specifically because of the standard they set for the artwork and the storytelling. So Fiction House, National Comics, Quality Comics, MLJ, and some titles specifically, I would say maybe Crime Does Not Pay, Wings Comics, Rangers Comics, Daredevil Comics. I mean, these are all great titles with great stories, good artwork, and definitely something I think you can jump into.
We do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. Comment down below so we can send this Six Gun Heroes out to you. And our winner from last week's video, where we're sending out this Two-Fisted Tales issue number 1, which is technically a number 18, but it's a reprint. It doesn't matter. It's awesome. And that's going to be going out to Shanus Maximus, who had a really fun answer to our question. Do you remember our question last week?
Yeah, I do remember our question. It was, if you had a superhero sidekick animal, what would it be and why?
All right, this is what Shanus Maximus says. He says his sidekick of choice would be a superhero pet turtle. Its superpowers are human-level intelligence, telepathy, and when it hides its head, it becomes invisible. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, contact us. Info in the description below, Shanus, and we're going to be sending you this Two-Fisted Tales. We do appreciate your time, comic fam, as always.
Geek responsibly.
Enough said. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you'd like to help support the podcast and you shop for items on eBay, like, I don't know, comic books or something, instead of eBay getting the full fee, we'll get half if you click the link below before you make your purchase. We don't get any of your info. We just get half the fee instead of eBay getting it all.